Hello, welcome back to our time of getting into God's Word, being connected to the vine, and we have now hit the century mark in the Psalter, Psalm chapter 100. And from 100 to 150, it's going to be a venture to going forward. We had 95 through 99 talking about God ruling and God reigning, and then we're introduced to a psalm today, Psalm 100, to be able to introduce us into what is worship, and being able to present us and push us to the place of worship. And as you're walking through the psalm, it's a short psalm, but it has three distinct characteristics in it. One of the characteristics is being able to talk about who God is and what His biggest attribute is. He made us, and He brings about the desire to worship Him. And it's a neat little circle that it runs there, being able to say, He made us, we worship Him, we honor Him because He has made us. And in that way, as it goes back into the history of who God is, we don't just say that God, because God made us, we worship Him, but throughout history, as He made Israel, the community that He made, as He made frankly, Jerusalem the way that He made it. He made the community of the church the way that He made it. We get to see the salvation in history and acted out by our God who made all those things, and how He promised all those things and fulfilled all those things. And we get to see that as our God who made, but it also calls us into a time to be with Him. And so it's a great introductory psalm into worship. Now, it also has the aspect, especially in the first verses, I look here, of being able to, in that third verse, know that the Lord is God. As I talked about before in the Psalter, it really attacks the aspect of polytheism, which is more gods than just one God. There's a God of agriculture, there's a supreme God, but there's all these other gods that you can intercess. Well, the Psalter always holds high that God is God, that the Lord is God. He is above all gods. You shall have no other gods before Him. And in this realm, there was always a distinction. There's always in this culture, always a distinction of, is the king, should we listen to his will or should we listen to God's will? And is the king leading us to God's will? Where in this psalm, it is very blatant of being able to say, God's will is God's will, and He uses the king to be able to initiate that into the community, or frankly walk that in the community. But the Lord is God. Follow His will. Don't follow the palace or the house that is built, but follow the one that's right next to it, which is called the temple. Being able to hear His statutes, His decrees, and frankly His history of salvation. So I keep rambling on, but it's a beautiful short little psalm, but great foundational aspect to walk in. Let's read together Psalm chapter 100. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before Him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is He who made us, and we are His. We are His people, the sheep of His pasture. Enter His gates with thanksgiving and His courts with praise. Give thanks to Him and praise His name. For the Lord is good, and His love endures forever. For His faithfulness continues through all generations. As you can see, that history of salvation at that last verse here, His faithfulness continues through all generations. He is the one who is faithful and good and will continue to be. You see that the psalm has three distinct kind of places to go. The first one is that God is present, and not just for His people, but for all the earth. And so that sends a message to us who follow Jesus Christ and are in His community, or we would say the ones that are chosen to be able to proclaim His gospel, that God isn't just for us, that God is for all the earth. And we always hear that about our mission, to be able to be proclaiming the gospel to all people, to all the creation, and being able to all generations. And so it just puts that right in front of us today, that God is present for everyone. That's the first thing, that God is present for everyone. The second one is that the God that is present doesn't just leave us to fend for ourselves. He didn't just make us and then say good luck. He said He made us, and then He is our shepherd guiding us, and He is for us. That second great characteristic. And number three is that the Lord is good. The one that is present, the one that is guiding us, is leading us and guiding us down the path of righteousness, or to the good places. not to the bad places. And so we can know that God's will is to be with us, is to celebrate how He's made us, to make us look at Him in worship, but be able to walk in the goodness of His faithfulness. And so that's our quest for today, of being able to read this psalm, being able to say, what is God's will for me today? It is to do the good of His gospel. It is to proclaim to all the earth and every generation of who our God is, how He has made us, how He guides and leads us, and how He loves us and even lays down His life for us as the Good Shepherd, but being able to say that He is faithful. And today, He's going to send us into a place to do just what He has made us to do. Worship Him, honor Him, glorify Him in all that we say and do. Have a blessed day doing just that.